back to Daily Planet. I'm Dan Riskin.
And I'm Zai Tong. We've got a lot more fascinating nature and tech stories on the way today. Like some good news for mosquitoes, that's bad news for us. It turns out they're actually getting smarter. That's just ahead on Discoveries.
Plus, let's say you caved in and bought a new iPhone 5. What do you do with your old phone? Lucas Cochran will give you some ideas on digital a little later.
But first, when it comes to rovers that are designed to land on other planets, the United States is clearly at the head of the pack. But that's not to say that other countries are not jumping in on the game now.
That's right. And this summer we found a little rover being put through its paces about an hour east of Montreal. And it's promising to put a little great white north on a couple of other planets.
Searching for life on Mars. Even for one-ton NASA superstars like this, it's a huge responsibility. And the stakes are astronomical. If you lose your key player, the entire mission is up in the air. Enter the next generation. It's Kapvik, Inuit for Wolverine, a rover small enough to go where others can't, making it the perfect sidekick for an alien expedition. The great thing is, it's not just an animation. It's real and it's ready to roll. Built by a team of Canadian engineers and scientists, they've raised Kapvik to be self-sufficient.
This is autonomous micro-rover. That's important because once the rover lands on the surface of Mars or Moon, and then there is no navigation system for the rover. So the rover actually has to have its own navigation system.
A 360 turn of its head and stereo cameras with a laser rangefinder calculate the site's depth and distance.
The rover builds 3D map from the image it takes. Based on the map, it calculates a path to the target. The rover is smart enough to avoid obstacles. Each wheel has its own motor to drive the wheel independently.
But before heading to space, there's a pit stop, an abandoned mine in the middle of Quebec. It's the ideal Martian training ground for one important reason.
This green rock is called serpentinite. It exists on the surface of Mars. It's formed with tremendous heat and water, and that could be a great place for life to exist. And its formation could also produce methane, which we've observed in the atmosphere of Mars.
And following the methane on Mars is what this is all about.
There are two types of methane, and this is the challenge of the mission. Methane can be produced by bacteria in their life processes, but methane can also be released simply by rock.
Today's exercise will tell whether this prototype has the right stuff to tell the difference.
Are we safe to move the rover into the navigation zone?
Thank you.
2 hours away, back in civilization, Mission Control is tasked with monitoring our little friend.
Okay, everybody ready?
Initiate autonomous navigation.
So we are capturing the panoramic images. Okay, the first image is here. I can see the target in the first image. Commanding the rover to capture a UV image of the target.
The most innovative feature on this robot is the ability to decide on a worthy target. Right now, it's carefully putting together an action plan.
I have the pad now here.
Moving to first target.
Now that it knows where it's going, it hits the road. Progress is slow, but it's building confidence.
The target should be almost 2 meters at right. Yeah, I can see the rover is moving.
Hopefully that target is worth the hardship. This rough terrain is giving Kapvik a true taste of Mars.
It seems that the rover is in the right direction.
Climbing this large rock proves it's agile, but Mission Control is being cautious.
Please keep your eyes on the rover and the second target. In case of any necessary modification, we can modify the target position. Okay?
Okay, stop it. Stop.
It's still going.
No, turn off the switch. Turn off the switch.
Not wanting to risk a fall, they decide to curb Kapvik's enthusiasm.
And then we still have room to improve.
It's a quick recovery, and soon Kapvik finds the sweet spot.
I confirm we are at the We are at the first target.
Move the instrument to the target number 1.
Since Kapvik isn't fully fitted with testing gear, a group of scientists bring instruments to the target. The devices that make the cut will be miniaturized to fit on Kapvik.
So what we're doing is we're measuring the different minerals. We're using a laser and we're exciting them to determine what's present within these rocks.
Microbiologists are all over those cracks, just like the rover would be on Mars. Sucking up some air, they rush the samples to the methane expert.
Thanks. Where are these samples from?
Target 1, samples A and B.
Now something called a cavity ring-down spectrometer uses lasers to learn the source of the methane. While they work on the results, the rover has one more trick up its sleeve.
Yeah, good. It works every time like this. Yeah.
Excellent job.
Good job, rover.
Today, the technology worked well,
It's a very good sample, and we should continue to evaluate that site.
as did the people behind it.
One step closer to the red planet.
Yes!
As for this little explorer, it won't be long before it's off to fulfill its destiny of bringing the universe out there closer to home.
Okay, time for a few more discoveries that caught our eye today. You're gonna love these dandelions, right? You see a weed, it's destroying your lawn. Well, Ohio researchers see it totally differently. They see new tires for your car. They found a way to turn these pests into rubber, just like this clump. Now, the rubber doesn't come from the flower or the leaves. It comes from the extensive root system of these special Russian dandelions. You see how far-reaching those roots are. Well, this new rubber is cool for many reasons. First, it's the only way to produce rubber in North America. Currently, we get all of our rubber from just one kind of tree that doesn't live here. And secondly, as we all know, dandelions are plentiful. So this would be a very easy to sustain resource.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, next we're moving on to pests, and we might not be giving mosquitoes enough credit, apparently, because they're outsmarting us, at least in the African country of Benin. Now, normally these pests go after people when they're asleep in bed between the hours of 2 and 3 a.m., so researchers with the World Health Organization installed anti-malaria nets to protect people. So they thought problem solved, right? Well, no, because the mosquitoes changed their behavior. Now they go after people at 5 a.m. when they're starting to work in the fields. The team cautions that these are really early results in a small sample size, just 2 villages in one country, but it's still pretty incredible to see these critters change their behavior so quickly.
All right, do you want to bring a 2D photo of a sunflower to life? Who doesn't? Well, let's do it. This is called Tilt Displays. It's a mobile device with a 3D display screen. The whole thing moves and tilts. This is the prototype. A team from the University of Bristol is building it. Basically, it's a 3x3 grid, like a Rubik's Cube, and each individual display can tilt along multiple axes, so vertical, horizontal tilting. And that sets it apart from pretty much every other display screen out there. And if you're thinking, that's too big to carry around, well, get this. It's going to be about half the size of a standard tablet.
And one more quick thing, take a look at this. This is a picture from the International Space Station. Crew members nabbed this shot of wildfires in Idaho, and that's pretty incredible since the ISS and the fires are separated by 420 kilometers. Okay, coming up after the break, physicist John Swain is going to join us in the studio with a paint can and a promise to make some pretty explosive TV, so do not miss it.